Amanda Brooks' heels clicked sharply on the Waldorf Astoria ballroom's marble floor, drawing every eye. She led two 12-year-old children, Andrew in a navy suit and Gloria in a satin dress. Their sudden appearance brought the wedding to a halt. The bride froze at the reception table, while the groom, Gabriel Whitaker, looked at the two children with a shattered expression. Whispers rippled through the room. These two children, they look exactly like him. If you think their arrival shook the wedding, that was just the beginning. This story is not about revenge, but about a woman who was cast aside, deceived, and forced to rebuild her life. 12 years later, she returned with the very thing they once declared she could never have. This is a story of betrayal, secrets, and justice. You will not believe what they did to her, or what she revealed right in front of everyone. Now, let us go back 12 years, to the moment they destroyed her life. 12 years ago, Amanda sat next to her husband, Gabriel, in an OB/GYN's office. The doctor entered with a file and a somber expression. "I'm so sorry, Amanda," he said. "Your chances of conceiving are non-existent." Amanda's world spun. She felt her own body had betrayed her. Gabriel placed a hand on her back, but its rigid, cold touch said it all. When she whispered a question, he avoided her gaze. In that moment, Amanda realized the horrifying thing was not the medical diagnosis, but the cold indifference of her husband, the one person who should have been her rock. A few days later, Amanda's mother-in-law, Veronica Whitaker, invited her to lunch. "You have been a good wife," she said, "but Gabriel needs children for a real future, a real legacy." Amanda's stomach twisted. "Are you telling me to leave?" Veronica smiled politely, but her eyes were cold. It would be more dignified. Amanda clenched her fists under the table. She realized they had been waiting for this excuse. The medical diagnosis was not just a tragedy, it was their ticket to push her out of Gabriel's life. A week later, Gabriel came home with a brown paper envelope. "We need to talk," he said, avoiding her eyes. Amanda stared at the file as he gently placed it on the coffee table. It was divorce papers. There was no argument, no discussion, everything had already been decided. "Why?" she asked, her voice trembling. "I don't want to hold on to something that will never happen," he said coldly. "We deserve different futures." She begged, cried, and even suggested adoption, but his heart had long since left her. What she did not know was that the documents had been planned in advance, timed perfectly after that fake fertility report. The betrayal ran much deeper. Amanda packed her belongings slowly, painfully, stuffing years of memories into cardboard boxes. Veronica supervised like a manager at a layoff. "Do not forget the living room closet," she added, not even looking at her. Amanda held back her tears. She wanted to scream, to tell the world how cruel they were, but she said nothing. The home she had helped build was no longer hers. As the door closed behind her, she felt empty. But deep inside, something stirred, a quiet, silent spark of defiance. A shift. A month later, Amanda moved into a modest apartment in suburban South Fulton. She took a job as a receptionist, barely making ends meet. The long nights were filled with loneliness and unanswered questions. Then, she started feeling tired, nauseous, and dizzy. Amanda thought it was stress until she fainted at work and was rushed to the hospital. The nurse came back with wide eyes. "Miss Brooks, you are pregnant." Amanda was stunned. She stammered, "Pregnant?" The nurse smiled and added, "With twins." Amanda began to sob, not from sorrow, but from a truth so unexpected it had completely changed her life. Amanda sat in the bathroom, shaking as she held the ultrasound photo. 2 small, perfect heartbeats. Tears streamed down her face. They had told her she could not have children, and they had cast her aside for that very reason. And now, this. She tried to contact Gabriel and her mother-in-law, but she was met with coldness and a firm refusal. "We are over. Do not contact us again," Veronica said. Amanda felt scared and empty. She had considered giving up, but then She felt a gentle flutter in her belly. She placed her hand on her stomach and whispered, "You are mine, and I will protect you." In that moment, everything in her changed. The woman they had called barren was about to become a mother, and no one could ever take that from her again. Amanda worked day and night, pulling double shifts at the law office and cleaning houses on weekends to make ends meet. Her belly grew, her back ached, but she persevered. When she went into labor, she was alone, with no family by her side. After hours of enduring, she heard two small cries, just seconds apart. The nurse smiled and said, "Congratulations, Miss Brooks." It was a boy and a girl. Amanda named them Andrew and Gloria. Her hands trembled as she held her babies for the first time. They were beautiful. The first few months were brutal. Amanda nursed her babies during the day and studied law at night. Sleep was a luxury, and tears came often. Yet, whenever Andrew gripped her finger or Gloria smiled in her sleep, she remembered her reason to fight. She hung their family photo on the fridge, a symbol of what she had accomplished, a stark contrast to what they had said. There was no alimony, no child support, not a single message from Gabriel. Still, Amanda woke up every day with a clear purpose. She was not just surviving, she was rebuilding. 5 years later, Amanda graduated with honors and passed the bar exam. She opened her own law firm, specializing in helping women who had been cast aside and overlooked. Her own story gave her strength. Clients trusted her, and she won case after case. Andrew and Gloria were now happy kindergartners. Gloria loved to draw, and Andrew was quiet but curious. Occasionally, they would ask about their father. Amanda would simply smile and say, "One day you will understand." She kept her past a secret, not out of shame, but to protect her children. Life had stabilized. Amanda bought a small house with a backyard and hired the first associate for her law firm. However, sometimes, while folding laundry or listening to her children's laughter, she felt a lingering emptiness. It was not regret, but unresolved pain. Her therapist called it sorrow, but Amanda called it a simmering fire. "They shut me down once," she told herself, "but it is not going to happen again." It was at that moment that Amanda began to investigate her past, not just emotionally but legally. She wanted to find the truth, and what she discovered shocked her to her core. Amanda was reviewing documents for a client's medical malpractice case when she noticed something. A name, Dr. Francis Leon, her former obstetrician. He was now under investigation for falsifying records. Her heart pounded. She pulled her own medical records from a sealed box she had not opened in years. She scanned the report. Something was not right. The dates did not align. The test results were labeled as copies. Her stomach clenched. She sent the file to her office's forensic team. The results came back within 48 hours. Her fertility report had been doctored. It was a complete fabrication. Her infertility was a lie. She sat in her office chair for hours, numb. Each heartbeat sounded like thunder in her ears. She was not infertile. She had never been infertile. Gabriel and Veronica had lied. They had bribed a doctor to create a diagnosis to justify casting her out. Her chest tightened with rage, not for herself, but for her children. "They did not just betray me," she whispered. "They robbed my children of a father." That night, she did not sleep. She just stared at her children sleeping peacefully, unaware of the storm that was beginning to swirl outside their world. The next morning, Amanda hired a private investigator to look into everything: payment records, audio recordings, internal memos. Within days, she had a full file, sworn affidavits, and emails between Gabriel and the clinic. There was even a note from Veronica that read, "We need this woman gone. Make it official." Amanda's hands trembled. This was not just betrayal, it was intentional cruelty. She could take them to court. She could sue the clinic, but that would not heal her. There was only one way to handle this. She looked at the invitation a friend had shown her online. "Gabriel Whitaker is getting married." It read, Amanda stared at the wedding announcement for a long time. Gabriel Whitaker was marrying Olivia Hastings, the daughter of State Senator Warren Hastings. Of course, the marriage was not about love. It was about image, power, and reputation. She closed her laptop. Her heart pounded. 12 years, she whispered. And you still think the past will not catch up? She walked into Andrew and Gloria's room. They were drawing on the floor, giggling. She knelt down beside them. Do you want to wear a really nice outfit next weekend? Andrew blinked. Like for church, Mum. Amanda smiled. Even better. We are going to a wedding. The wedding day. The ballroom sparkled with gold and ivory decor. Gabriel worked the room, his expensive suit mingling with guests sipping champagne under crystal chandeliers. Amanda walked through the glass doors, her navy dress hugging her form with quiet elegance. Andrew and Gloria walked beside her, calm and composed. Heads turned, and whispers began. Who is she? Wait, is that? Gabriel stood at the altar, laughing with the officiant until he turned and his eyes met hers. His laughter died, his jaw went slack, and his glass slipped from his hand. Veronica clutched her pearl necklace. Olivia, radiant in her white gown, followed his gaze and froze. The guests fell silent as Amanda walked down the aisle. She did not walk like a woman begging for answers, but like one delivering a verdict. Andrew held her left hand. Gloria gripped her right. Amanda's eyes never left Gabriel's. She stopped just a few feet from the altar. Before you say, I do, she said, her voice clear and calm. You should know what you left behind. She opened her purse, pulled out a file, and handed it to the projector operator. You told everyone I could not have children. This proves otherwise. Behind her, the large screen illuminated. The silence in the ballroom shattered. The evidence was projected. Emails, sworn affidavits, the falsified medical report, and the doctor's testimony. 12 years ago, Amanda began. The groom and his mother bribed a doctor to fake my infertility results. They used it as an excuse to get rid of me, and they succeeded. But what they did not know was that when I left, I was already pregnant. A gasp rippled through the ballroom. Veronica stood up, shouting, "This is slander." Amanda turned, looking directly at her. "No, Veronica, this is justice, and you left your signature in the clinic's ledger." Veronica's face reddened, and she trembled as she sat back down. Olivia stepped forward, her eyes locked on the two children, then turned to Gabriel, her voice trembling. "They look just like you. You told me she was infertile, that she was out of your life for good. You lied to me." She slipped off her engagement ring and let it fall to the floor. It clattered once and was silent. "I will not marry a man who hides his children and ruins women." Olivia turned and walked away, her bridal makeup smudged with tears. Guests parted, watching her disappear into the hallway. Gabriel stood motionless, utterly speechless. He looked toward Andrew and Gloria. Andrew tilted his head in confusion, and Gloria whispered, "Is he crying?" Tears began to fall as Gabriel realized the truth. He had erased his own legacy. "Are they my children?" he asked, his voice hoarse. Amanda did not answer. She did not need to. The resemblance between Gabriel and the children was undeniable. The weight of what he had done came crashing down, heavier than any verbal accusation. He stepped forward, reaching out, but Andrew recoiled, saying softly, "Don't." Veronica rose, desperate to regain control. "This is all nonsense. We did what was best for our family," she roared. "That woman was not right for you, Gabriel." But this time, no one stood by her. Old friends and colleagues turned away. The queen of the social elite was now all alone. Amanda turned to Veronica and said calmly, "You did not just push me away. You robbed your own grandchildren of their father. You buried the truth all because of your pride." Veronica collapsed in defeat, the whispers around her as sharp as daggers. After 10 minutes, Amanda gently placed a file on the table. "This is not about revenge. I just wanted the truth to be exposed before it was buried once more." Andrew and Gloria stood beside her, tall and poised. "It is time to go," children," she said. No yelling, no begging. She strode out of the ballroom with her dignity intact. The click of her heels was a final period on the sentence. The guests stared, unsure whether to applaud or weep. Gabriel remained frozen at the altar. Olivia was gone. Veronica was silent. And Amanda was gone too, completely free. Outside, the sun was setting. Amanda took a deep breath. Andrew looked at her and asked, "Mom, is it over now?" She smiled. "It's over now." Gloria squeezed her hand and said, "I am proud of you." Amanda knelt down and hugged both children tightly. "No, I am proud of you." They looked back through the glass wall. Gabriel was still standing there, staring into space. Veronica was slumped in a corner, completely defeated. The empire they had built on lies had finally crumbled. Amanda had not brought the fire of hatred. She had only brought the light of truth to illuminate everything. They walked to the car. Amanda opened the door for her children and then got into the driver's seat, her hands steadier than ever. She had carried this secret for 12 years, and now it no longer weighed her down. As she merged into traffic, she did not look back. The camera in the ballroom still captured the scene of Gabriel standing motionless, the once powerful man now just a lonely silhouette. And just like that, Amanda drove off into a new chapter of her life. She was no longer anyone's ex-wife, but a mother, a warrior, a woman who had won. It was the story of a woman who found strength and justice, not through revenge, but through truth. Later that night, Amanda tucked Gloria in and kissed Andrew's forehead. The children had come home with many questions, but they still felt a sense of peace. Gloria whispered, "You did not yell at him." Amanda smiled. "I did not need to. The truth is bigger than anything I could have said." As she closed the bedroom door, she leaned against the wall, feeling the stillness. She was no longer angry, no longer broken, just at peace. For the first time in 12 years, she had nothing to fear. Across town, Gabriel sat alone in his penthouse, staring at his computer. On the screen was a photo of the two children taken by a guest. He zoomed in on their faces. Andrew's nose, Gloria's eyes, all were a reflection of himself. For years, he had built an empire, but tonight it all felt meaningless. He had missed their first words, their first steps, school plays, and birthdays. He whispered, "I lost everything." His phone vibrated. It was Olivia's number, but he did not answer. Veronica, elsewhere, sat on the edge of her bed, gripping the bedsheets. She had ruled the elite with power, but now her name was associated with a scandal. Her face was all over social media. No one was answering her calls. Her kingdom had fallen in one day. She tore up the now useless wedding invitation and muttered, she should never have come back. But Amanda had come back, and she had brought the truth. Veronica had tried to rewrite history, and Amanda had restored it. Amanda stood by her bedroom window, looking at the moonlight. In her reflection, her children's drawings were lined up on the wall. She smiled, a warm smile without bitterness. "They said I could not be a mother," she whispered. "But look at us now." She did not need applause, apologies, or revenge. The truth had spoken, the world had listened, and justice had echoed louder than revenge ever could. Amanda had not come to ruin his wedding. She had come to finish the story they had tried to erase.